Not too long ago, a listing popped up on everybody's favorite wasteland of thievery and mischief, Facebook Marketplace. The listing was titled simply Sports Memorabilia. The price was $800. Now, I've been down this road so many times, and it usually ends in a Rubbermaid tote full of creased and water-damaged 1987 Topps Commons being sold by an absolute goblin of a human who thinks my sole purpose on this pale blue dot in space is to rip them off. But I looked closely at the pictures. First, that was a lot of boxes. Second, zooming in a bit on the labels. You see the year? 1981. Huh. Maybe, just maybe, this isn't a big pile of junk. There was a second box with a visible 1981 label. All right, I'll send this guy a message. Just a simple question. Are there any complete sets? What I wanted to know is if he's selling complete sets, or, the more common instance, the boxes have all been robbed of any card of value, and the collection is a pile of junk wax commons for $800. He responded, no complete sets, and nothing further. But if there is multiple boxes of 1981 cards, maybe there is other stuff around that year. Not all 1989 Donruss, although I was certain to run into 1989 Donruss at some point. It was close enough that running over to see the collection wasn't a huge imposition, so I made an appointment. The directions to his house included turn off the paved road, which in Arkansas puts the likelihood of my murder and corpse abuse above my preferred threshold of 0. When I arrived, I was greeted by 2 huge black trunks, 5 very friendly cats, and a nice guy who was happy to let me go through the more than 50 boxes to see what was there and if it was indeed worth the $800 asking price. One of the first boxes I opened was 1980 Topps cards. It wasn't a complete set, but it was a mostly complete set, and it was already in numerical order, and the Rickey Henderson rookie was there. And instantly I knew I was going to buy the collection. Whatever else was here, if the collection had been cherry-picked, the Rickey would have been the first to go. The collection had some basketball and football cards too, but they're a little outside my wheelhouse, so I relied on my assessment of the baseball cards alone when making decisions on price and value. I scribbled my notes on my tablet as I went, while doing my best to make conversation over the episode of Cops blaring in the background. There were boxes of partial sets from 1977 through 1982, including multiple sets from 1981 and 1982 Topps. There was a 1981 Fleer box, 82 Donruss, 82 Fleer, and some standard junk wax in there too, which I was expecting. There was a huge chunk of vintage football cards, and a little basketball mixed in too. The 1980 Topps set had the Rickey in it, and the 1979 box had the Ozzie. They weren't complete sets, but they were honest boxes of a collector who almost got every card. I tallied the value and made the guy a conservative offer of $600 for everything, knowing that the value was in the completeness of the sets, not in individual cards, as the Henderson was only about a $40 card in that condition, and the Ozzie only about a $25 or $30 card in that condition. I would have to put a fair amount of work into cataloging and completing each set to extract any additional value. He was a bit reluctant as it was his childhood collection, and he was really sad to see it go, so we met in the middle at $700. I loaded it up and drove it home, excited to tear into it. $700 for all of this. That's 55 boxes of cards, plus some additional memorabilia and bric-a-brac. $700 for 55 boxes full of cards. That's a little over $12 per box. The deal was right, but I still didn't know what I bought apart from broad categories. Were the Rickey and Ozzie rookies an aberration, or was this collection legit? As I got started, I quickly discovered that some of the boxes were accurately labeled, but others were a total mystery. There was a 1991 Topps Micro Sealed set, a complete box of 1988 Topps Big Baseball packs, 6 1988 Topps Rack packs, a sealed 1985 Donruss Jumbo set, an Upper Deck Michael Jordan all-metal pack, with the cards still sealed, which I had to look up to see that set alone sells for about $30, and a box full of mystery cards and top loaders, and so much more. So what do I want out of this? Well, ideally, I want to keep at least a 1977, 78, and 79 Topps set, plus an 81 and 82 top set, and the goal is to keep them for net $0. Anything else I find along the way, I'll decide what to do with as budget allows. In the end, I suspect I'll keep much less than half of this total collection, and I'm starting $700 in the hole. Let's look at some cards, starting with this mystery box of top loaders. And the first thing I pulled out of it was a stack of more than 30 of these. eBay let me know that these are 1981 Topps NBA Team Pinups. And they are pretty popular, selling for up to $15 each. And there's more than 30 of them here, more than a full set. We're off to a good start. These cards I didn't recognize, a Royal set issued by a KC nonprofit. No real value here. How about a 22-karat gold Lou Gehrig card issued by CMG and the Danbury Mint? That's a couple of bucks. A couple random autos and screwdowns, and 4 Randy Johnson rookies. The rest of the box was mostly junk wax era Hall of Famers in very yellowed top loaders that would need to be thrown away. So a little bit of value, but not much. With the seal broken, I tore into the box labeled 1978 Topps. It looked to be about 600 cards. And boom, the Eddie Murray rookie was there. And so was the Andre Dawson. And yeah, I know this is his second-year card. The checklists had all been, well, checked. The guy told me these were his childhood cards, and it totally had that vibe. The cards were in numerical order, the checklists had been duly marked, with the unmarked cards largely missing. This was an honest collection. Jim Rice popped out, and the Hall of Famers, or most of them at least, were all there. The Dale Murphy was there. The Molitor Trammell rookie was there. I relaxed into my chair, realizing that my $700 was well spent. After a thorough check, the 1978 Topps set was 79 cards short of complete. But here's the thing. It was 79 commons. All the big rookies and Hall of Famers were already there. 79 commons from 1978 are easy to source, and even a paramountly high price of $3 for $1 for these commons means I need to put about a maximum of $25 into this set to make it complete, with the value on the other side of completeness of around $125. So this set is very much cost-effective to complete. The next box was the 1980 Topps set, and I already knew that the Ricky was there. The front was beautiful, the edges and corners all sharp, but the back was miscut, common for 1980 cards. This card is perfect for a set card. That the cards were already in numerical order made documenting them a breeze. Almost all of the Hall of Fame cards were there, but for the Gary Carter, Carlton Fisk, and Goose Gossage. The rest of the 72 cards I needed to complete the set are all commons, another easy task. This set will be a big piece of getting back to net $0, as I already have a complete X-Mint 1980 Topps set with a Rickey Henderson rookie as acquired in a previous collection flip, which I encourage you to go back and watch. A 1980 Topps set is $200 on a good day and $150 on a bad day, so I absolutely need to complete this set and sell it to chip away at my budget hole. The 1979 Topps set had a well-centered Aussie rookie in it, and after going through it, it was 69 cards short of complete. But 3 of those cards were Phillies cards, so I went in my doubles box, which you got a peek into last week, and pulled 3 cards out of storage and put them into active service. Just like that, we're down to 66 cards needed to complete the set. The 1977 Topps box was light and didn't seem even close to being a full set. But like the 2 other sets thus far, the Hall of Famers were there and in nice condition. And that included the Andre Dawson rookie and Dale Murphy rookie. There was actually 2 Hawk rookies. Bonus. After a full accounting, the 1977 set was 201 cards short of complete. 5 of the cards needed were Phillies cards, which I had laying around, and 2 weeks ago, as detailed in Highs and Lows 15, I stocked up on 1977 Topps Hall of Famers from a $3 for $1 bin at a card show. So I was able to add some of the big cards needed right off the bat. 189 cards needed now to complete this set, and almost all commons. There were 2 boxes from 1982 Topps, an ordered set and a box of doubles. The set was 68 cards short of complete, But I had some 1982 cards laying around, including this Gary Matthews and this Reggie Jackson out of my Hall of Fame box, and a partial set of 1982 cards acquired in a previous flip. After filling all the holes with cards I already owned, this set needs 50 cards for completion. And my luck finally ran out, as the Cal Ripken rookie was missing. That's a big one to source. $25 at least for a nice one. Luckily, the second box of 1982 Topps cards numbered more than 500, so there is some value to sell it on. This process went on for days, opening a box and completely cataloging its contents. You might think this too much work, but I find it relaxing, and even when I don't have a ball game to watch, I'm willing to put in this work and my time to fully extract the maximum value possible from this collection and get things flipped back to net $0 when I'm finished. There were no less than 4 boxes of 1981 Topps cards, one near-complete set needing only 3 cards and including the Baines and Raines rookies, a second set needing 33 cards for completion, also including the Baines and Raines rookies, and a third set that needed 121 cards for completion, also having the Baines and Raines rookies too, plus a 4th and 5th Tim Raines rookie for good measure. I'll complete all 3 sets, keep 1, sell off 2, and sell the 4th box of doubles. There's another $150 or so in value in the 1981 sets. Adding that to the $150 or so in the 1980 set, and I'm theoretically halfway back on my budget hole. The nearly complete 1981 set had a gap in the box, and we've all experienced this gap, which causes the cards to flop around. Some people bunch up paper and stuff it in there, some cut up foam blocks. I decided to make a more custom approach, and so designed up this box block, as I'm calling it. It fits into the box perfectly to keep the cards snug and upright. I made the colors here to match the Baines rookie. And of course, I put the 1981 Topps logo on the top. I'm not sure if I'll keep it, but it's a cool prototype. Keep experimenting, you know? Trying to pick off some low-hanging fruit, I opened a 1989 Bowman box to find a crispy Griffey rookie and, curiously, 20 missing cards. Why are there 20 cards missing, but the Griffey is there? Who knows? But 20 1989 Bowman Commons are easy to find, and since I already have an 89 Bowman set complete with a Griffey, I'll be able to sell this one along. I was hoping for a second complete set or near complete set of 1989 Bowman, but when I opened the second box, what the? This is all 1990 Topps Kyle Abbott rookies. Surely this can't be all... nope, it's all Kyle Abbott rookies. More than 500 Kyle Abbott rookies from 1990 Topps. Kyle Abbott was a first-round draft pick of the Angels in 1989 and a much-touted prospect. At the height of the junk wax prospecting era, this was common. You could buy an entire box of one rookie. This guy probably thought he'd retire on these cards. Alas, Kyle Abbott had a negative career WAR, went 4-17 during his brief pitching career with a career ERA over 5. And here I am with 500 of his pristine rookie cards. I guess I'll just have to throw these out, as they have absolutely no value. Kyle Abbott, if for some reason you come across this video, shoot me a note and I'll send you these cards. Otherwise, they're heading for the bin. I finished out the first part of the documenting phase with a 1981 Fleer set needing only 4 cards to complete. And there was a complete 1982 Fleer set with the Ripken rookie and a complete 1982 Donruss set with the Ripken rookie. Whether I keep these 2 sets will come down to the budget. I may need to sell them, we'll see. I should mention that these 2 sets were the only 2 not already in numerical order. So it took about an hour each to order them, and of course, the 2 sets not already ordered were the 2 sets that were complete. Also, can we just take a second to marvel at the San Diego Chicken card from 82 Donruss? Legendary. There was an 87 Fleer near-complete set missing about 40 cards that came with 7 extra Reggie Jacksons, a 1990 Fleer box that wasn't close enough to complete to even call it a set, about 40 1989 Fleer Joe Carter cards, for reasons I can't explain, but after the great Kyle Abbott caper of 2026, maybe I shouldn't be surprised, and 4 boxes of 1988 Donruss. 4. Out of the 4 boxes, more than 3,000 total cards, I couldn't even assemble one complete set. This is the junk wax nightmare we expect with collections like this. I'm glad that this is the outlier so far. I got one set to within 7 cards of complete. The rest, well, there are very few cards worth less than 1988 Donruss, so I won't put much effort into it beyond the single set completion and reselling. By this point in the collection, opening boxes and cataloging their contents felt familiar and regular. I opened this unlabeled box and was greeted with a bunch of wild stuff, like more than 40 1991 Donruss Nolan Ryan cards, 15 1989 Topps Bo Jacksons, an 86 Topps traded Bo Jackson rookie, more Randy Johnson rookies. I'm up to more than 10 Randy Johnson rookies alone in this collection. This very cool Sunoco branded Phillies card featuring Richie Ashburn and Robin Roberts that I didn't already have, so this will go right into my Choice Phillies box. A Topps Finest Ricky Henderson, that's not nothing. Junk wax, but the best of the junk wax era, for whatever that is worth. Moving right along, the next box was labeled 1988 Topps, but it had 1993 Topps in it, including the traded set, which meant the Todd Helton rookie was in there. And so was Jeff Kent's rookie. The Helton is about a $10 card these days, and Jeff Kent just snuck into the Hall of Fame on the Contemporary Baseball Committee ballot. This isn't technically his rookie card, I know, as he had a card in 1992 Fleer Update that takes that title, so relax if you jumped at the screen when I called this his rookie. But this is his first Topps card, and it's got the rookie cup on it. That's good enough for me. This is about a $3 card now, post-Hall of Fame election. There was a box labeled Donruss that had 1988 Topps cards in it, and a 1988 Topps box that had Donruss cards in it. So I swapped the boxes to reunite the 1988 cards with their true and rightful home. The Topps set was complete up to card 699, but cards 700 to 792 were curiously missing. Given the haphazard nature of the collection, I expected to find the missing chunk somewhere in another box, but it never appeared. I pulled some of the stars out of my storage, but we'll need to get some 1988 Topps cards to finish the set. Along with it, there were some 88 rack packs in the collection, so I would likely package them together when it comes time to start selling things. Which it was. Even though I wasn't even done going through the collection, there were things I could start to sell that didn't need any work from me to complete. The first listing to go up was for the 1991 sealed Upper Deck set. I'm not such a big fan of sealed product because I can't play with it. If I have a box of cards, I want to be able to open it and look at them. So this box really isn't for me. I found a buyer in less than a day. He asked if I was selling any other stuff, and I sent him a few other pictures, and he ended up buying the box of 1988 Topps Big Baseball packs too. $30 for the lot. And the budget finally started to move back in the right direction. It was only a matter of time before 1989 Donruss entered the conversation, as these cards are lurking in nearly every collection somewhere. And thankfully, it wasn't close to a full set, which means I don't have to mess with it. The whole set is only $10, so trying to source 300 singles is a fool's errand. I'll bundle this together with a bunch of the other junk wax commons and sell it as an ultra-low price lot when all of this is done. Next up was a very promising box marked 1989 Topps Traded. You know what that means. Now, not much in this collection had been pilfered, so it was possible that the Griffies were in there. And indeed there was, but only one. There were 4 traded sets, and 4 Randy Johnsons, and 4 Omar Vizquels, but only one Griffey. I'll take it. I'll need to ponder the Vizquel rookies. He, like Curt Schilling, is a Hall of Famer by the stats, but some off-the-field antics really hindered his candidacy. He peaked at 52% of the vote in 2020, but then some abuse allegations cratered him in the next year. This year, he got 18%. He's got one more year on the ballot. Maybe time heals the wounds and the Contemporary Era Committee gives him the nod, but that'll be another decade at least. A long time to hold on to these cards, just in case. The next box was labeled 1992 Topps Traded, and when I opened it, you've got to be kidding me. Is that more Kyle Abbott rookies? Bloody hell. You'll remember from the last video, I already stumbled across 500 Kyle Abbott rookies. Well, here was another 200 or so. The great Kyle Abbott caper of 2026 isn't over, it seems. In any case, the 1992 Topps Traded set doesn't have much in it, besides the Nomar Garciaparra rookie and the Jason Varitek rookie. Neither are Hall of Famers, but they were pretty good players. And now I have 4 of each. Although, I'm not sure that's saying much. If there's a Nomar or Varitek super collector out there, send me an email. The last of the baseball cards included a partial 1984 Topps set, but only about half of it was there, and no Don Mattingly rookie. I'll have to decide what to do with that at another time. So it was on to the basketball stuff. But before I could get to that, I got an email from a fan of the channel who watched part 1 and, believe it or not, is a Kyle Abbott super collector. I mean, are you serious? Dude was very serious. I thought I was going to be throwing these cards out, and here they are, ready to be packaged up and shipped to Texas. Since I was legit going to throw the cards out, I didn't ask for any money beyond the shipping cost, so the budget won't move on this deal. But I am delighted that these cards will find a home where they will be properly appreciated. And if there's a second Kyle Abbott super collector out there in baseball card land, you missed your shot. Right, on to the basketball cards. In my cursory rummaging, I didn't see any 1986 Fleer basketball whatsoever, so I wasn't expecting to be floored with a Jordan rookie anywhere. There was a 1996 Upper Deck all-metal set of Michael Jordans, a couple of Shaq rookies, Robinson Rookie of the Year, more Michael Jordans, and then, in the middle of all the basketball cards was a 1971 Johnny Bench that looked like it had been eaten by a dog, a 1981 Walter Payton in similar condition, a Jaromir Jagr rookie, the 1991 Upper Deck Michael Jordan baseball rookie, and a 1982 Yaz. How all of those cards ended up together in the same stack, I'll never know. There were basketball cards in screw-down plaques that needed rescuing, including a vintage Pat Riley and a general mixture of basketball cards from the 70s through the 90s, with no real organization or purpose. In the end, I'll just sell this all as a lot. So I cleaned it up as best I could and threw it up on Marketplace to see if someone wants it more than me, which will be easy as I don't really want any of it. Basketball's not really my thing. My general strategy for Marketplace listings is to start the listing high, then immediately lower the price so it looks like it's on sale, and then, every third day or so, lower the price by 5%. I'm much more interested in quick, liquid sales than I am trying to maximize every possible dollar of potential profit. I just want to sell enough to support my own habit, not become a full-blown dealer. I left the football cards for last, because I know the least about them. I don't follow football much, and have never collected football cards at all. Any box I open will require research, as I don't really know who the big cards are in a given year, save for a few major stars, like Walter Payton or Joe Montana. The first box was marked 1978 Topps Football, and it was a bit of a mess upon opening. The 1978 set is 528 cards, and the big card of the set is the Tony Dorsett rookie, which was in there. Unfortunately, it had a fairly significant crease. The Joe Klecko rookie was in there, that an SI article told me was a pretty big card, along with John Stallworth, Terry Bradshaw, and Dan Fouts. In all, there were 302 cards of the set's 528, a little more than half the set. That's a pretty big delta to completion, so I'll decide what to do with this later. Sell it as is, or complete it with a fresh Dorsett rookie and go for the gold. The next box stepped up the adrenaline a bit. It was a 1977 Topps football set, and it looked nearly complete. The first card I pulled out was a Walter Payton and O.J. Simpson rushing leaders card, followed by the Bradshaw, followed by a beautiful Walter Payton, the Vinny Papale rookie, and Fran Tarkington's All-Pro card. And Dave Casper here, who again an article online says was a good card. Steve Largent's rookie was there too. After a full check, the 1977 set was 45 cards short of complete, but it appeared I had all the big cards, and all that remained was commons. A complete 1977 set sells for around $200, it seems, so this makes sense to complete before selling. I've never owned a Walter Payton card before, and I feel like this is a notch in some sort of sports collecting bedpost. There was a 1979 Topps football box, only 17 cards short of complete, which again included the Walter Payton among other great cards. This is about a $150 set, so now I need to source the 17 missing cards and get this into the hands of a collector who will appreciate it. These football boxes were real bangers, as it turns out. I thought I was buying a baseball collection with a little football mixed in, and it was more like a football collection with some baseball mixed in. The next football box was 1980 Topps, and it was only one card short of complete, card 474. The Phil Simms rookie was in beautiful shape, and another crispy Walter Payton was in there too. A 1980 set goes for a touch over $100, so I gotta get that one card for sure. Moving from 1980 Topps to 1981 next, and look at this jumbled mess. So I go to work organizing the box, and holy crap. That is a Joe Montana rookie, and a good-looking one too. This was just at the bottom of the box. It's probably been there for 45 years. Yeah, we'll put that in a sleeve and a card saver. I have to admit, I'm a little speechless. I thought I was buying vintage baseball, and here I am discovering a crisp Joe Montana rookie, just in a box, and another Walter Payton. The set was 11 cards short of complete, and with the Montana rookie, is the most valuable set among all the boxes so far. So I go on to the next box, another box of loose 1981 Topps football. I see that the cards are numbered, and now I know that the Montana rookie is card 216, so with the camera shaking in my one hand, my other goes right to the low 200s, and holy crap, that is another Montana rookie. And just look at it. That is crisp and centered, and what is happening? I know a lot of you out there in YouTube land are already screaming at the screen for me to send it in for grading. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Even with the possibility that these grade a 6 or higher, which is strong, I would say they're probably 7s. I don't want to wait around for 6 months to maybe get an extra 100 or 2 in the sale. That trade-off just isn't worth it to me. Neither of these are 10 contenders, so I'll sell them raw with the complete set and let someone else make that decision. If they want to pay the fee and wait the intolerable time to get it back, more power to them. They can have that extra $100. I was in no way expecting 2 Joe Montana rookies as part of my day today, but I gotta say, finding cards like that in the bottom of a box is pretty frickin' exciting. There was a lot more football cards too. 1980 and 1981 Fleer NFL team action sets, multiples of each, hundreds of extra commons from the late 70s and early 80s. This is a football power box that had all kinds of junk wax stars in it, and a stack of 1976 Topps football. You don't think... There's no way, right? There can't be a Walter Payton rookie in that stack, right? Right? Well, there wasn't. But holy crap, going through that stack had my heart pounding like a teenager touching a boob for the first time. There wasn't a Sweetness rookie, but there was other Walter Payton cards, and a Marcus Allen, and a second-year Barry Sanders, and an Otis Anderson rookie. The hits just kept on coming. I'm going to keep this as a mixed power box and see if I can sell it as a complete lot. So this is what 4 solid days of card sorting looks like, and a full documentation of the collection that I purchased, set by set and card by card. I had this huge pile of singles pulled from various boxes, and just look at what's here. These are just the extras and the randoms that will be incorporated into my collection, mostly in my Hall of Fame boxes. If these were at a show, they would make the greatest dollar box in card show history. Banger after dollar banger. My plan right now is to sell off the basketball collection as a whole, as is. I will complete and sell the 77, 79, 80, and 81 football sets, sell the 76 and 78 cards as a lot, and sell all of the remaining football as a lot. For the baseball, I want to keep and complete the 77, 78, 79, 80, and 82 sets, Fleer, Topps, and Donruss inclusive. The rest of the baseball sets, I'll only sell off if I still need money in the collection to bring it back to net $0. Plus, I'll need money on the other side of that to complete the sets. And I need an 82 Ripken rookie, and an 82 traded Ripken rookie would be a nice addition as well. While going through my purchase and spending plans, another viewer of the channel reached out about the oddball Kansas City Royals cards I found back in part 1. More cards I figured I'd probably just throw away, but as it turns out, he wanted them. So we arranged a trade. I sent him the stack of 2005 Kansas City Sheriff's Association promo Royals cards, and he sent me a few Phillies cards in return. Because baseball cards are fun, and don't always have to be about maximizing every single cent of profit. And my goal with this collection isn't profit. I don't want to make money on it. I want to make cards. So I'm only going to sell as much as I need to get back to even. And with the windfall of football cards I totally wasn't expecting, I'm pretty confident I can do that now. I may even keep one of the 81 football sets with the Montana just for funsies. Who knows? We'll see. This is a heck of a shopping list, but buying cards is the fun part. So off to the card stores and card shows I go. Before I journey to a great local card store that specializes in set completions, I threw up a bunch of listings on Marketplace for some of the lots that didn't need completion. Like this box of mixed football cards, this lot of mixed basketball cards, and this lot of mixed vintage football cards. And this partial set of 1978 Topps football that was a little too far away from completion for it to be worth my time and money to bring it all the way back to spec. It was going to be a wash either way, so I decided my time was better spent elsewhere in the collection. As I was double-checking my lists, I realized that I had missed 2 boxes entirely. The first was full of 1985 Donruss, but after sorting, it was 138 cards short of a full set. Neither the Clemens or the Puckett rookies were there. Now, I already have a complete 1985 Donruss set, as acquired in a collection flip a while back, so my excitement was limited to get this one completed, with so many missing cards. I'd need probably $20 for the missing Clemens and the missing Puckett rookies, and 138 singles, at a generous 25 cents each, would be another $35 or so to complete. But a complete 1985 Donruss set only sells for about $55, so best case scenario is I'd complete it and barely get my money back on it. I suppose since I have the 85 Donruss Jumbo set, I could possibly combine the two to eke out an extra buck, but that's a stretch. I'll need to find a source for singles in the 5 cents each range to make this completion make sense. The second box that I had missed didn't have any sports cards in it at all. It was full of movie cards, including 5 sets, 2 of which were complete, of a 1981 Topps Raiders of the Lost Ark card set, and some Star Trek cards along with it, both the original series and Next Generation. eBay says that the Indiana Jones cards do sell, and a complete set can fetch $20 to $25, so I'll figure out how to find someone who wants them. Sure of what I needed, off to the card store I went. I was going to be there for a while, so I purposely went during a time where I'd hoped they'd be slow. Settling in, year by year, and set by set, I got to work. 1978 Topps was first, because this one was for me. I needed 79 cards, and they had 76 of them. I still need card 424, 606, and card number 4, which is the Brooks Robinson. $15 for the 76 cards from 78. Or 20 cents a card for X-Mint 1978 Topps Commons. 1989 Bowman was next, and I needed 20 cards. All commons. They had every one, so this set is now complete. $3 for the lot. That's 15 cents a card. I should be able to sell this now in the $20 to $25 range, complete with the Griffey rookie. I've got a complete set already, so I'm definitely selling this one along. 1981 Topps Baseball was next, and I was completing 2 sets in this case, one for me to keep and one to sell along to the next collector. I needed 36 cards to complete both, and was able to snag all 36. $5 for this lot of commons, which works out to 14 cents a card. The third 1981 Topps set that came in this collection is 120 cards short of complete, and now I've got my price point. I'll need to come back and put another $17 into that set to complete it. But then it should be worth about $75, which is a good cost-benefit analysis from my captain's chair. 1981 Fleer was next, another set I intended to keep, and I only needed 4 cards, which I got for $1, 25 cents each. Moving to football to keep things interesting, I had them pull the 1981 boxes, as I had 2 sets to complete, needing 97 total cards between the 2 sets. But thankfully, I already had the Montana rookies and the Walter Paytons, and you knew that because you watched part 2. They had them all, and I was able to complete both sets for a total cost of $24 or 25 cents per card. Well worth the investment. 1979 Topps Football was next, and they had all 17 cards that I needed to complete that set too. $4 for the lot. Back to baseball, I moved to 1980 Topps, where I needed 72 cards, and they had all of them to complete yet another set. $18 for this lot, or 25 cents a card. Again, these were all commons, no stars needed. I only needed one card from 1980 Topps Football, card 474, which was $1. This shop has a rule. If they get the meticulously organized singles boxes out for you, $1 is the minimum spend. So this was my most expensive single card, and only because I only needed a single card. Having been at it for nearly 2 hours, I didn't quite have the strength to start on the many cards needed for my 77, 79, and 82 baseball sets. So I closed out with another $10 for the cards needed to complete an 88 Donruss set and an 88 Topps set. The budget was moving in the wrong direction, but I had enough complete sets to start the selling process in earnest. I paid cash, as I always do, and hightailed it out of there. When home, I slid the newly acquired cards into their rightful slots in each box. 89 Bowman, now complete. Take some nice photos, and up on Marketplace it goes. We'll start at $30, and I'll hope to get $25. 1981 Topps Football is now complete. Take some pictures, throw it up on Marketplace for $200, and it was sold. Well, that was quick. The guy took the mixed box of football cards I had up already too. He asked if I would meet him in a neutral location, but I told him if he picked it up at my house, I'd do both boxes for $225. He accepted, and I didn't even have to take off my slippers. While waiting for him to arrive, I tidied up the 1980 Topps baseball set, entered all the missing cards, took some pictures, and up for sale it goes. I'll start this at $200, knock it down to $175, and see if there's any takers. I very quickly got a number of requests asking if I would ship the cards to various places across the country. But for now, I'm hoping for a cash deal from a local buyer. I did the same thing for the extra 1981 Topps baseball set and listed it for $75. Out of the 4,000 1988 Donruss cards that came in the collection, I now had at least one complete set for whatever that's worth. I'm just hoping to get rid of it, so I listed it for $10, hoping for a quick sale. Or any sale. The 1980 Topps football set was complete now, so I listed that for $100. The nice gentleman came for the football cards, so that was now cash in hand. And it was satisfying to watch the budget come down so quickly. I received a few pings on the mixed basketball lot, and eventually a guy came for those too. He was mostly interested in the Jordan all-metal cards. We agreed on $125 for the lot, which included the 81 Topps pinups. I got around to completing the 1979 Topps football set and listed it for $140, and the same evening did the same for the other 1981 Topps football set, which I listed again at $200, and it was sold in 30 minutes. Maybe I underpriced the 81 sets with the nice Montana rookies, but eBay comps were around $200 with a low of $150 and a high of about $250. But the comps at $250 and above all had graded Montana cards with them. And if I'd gone to eBay, I would clear $200 cash with a sale price of about $235. From my end, I was happy to flip those sets quickly, even if that means I left a little money on the table. There is something to be said for liquidity. I got the 1988 Topps set listed, including the rack packs, and the box of movie cards too. I've got a growing pile of junk wax overflow that will be sold at the end of this flip, and I've still got a lot of shopping to do. My 78 Topps set still needs cards. I haven't even started on my 77, 79, or 82 Topps sets, and I need an 82 Topps Cal Ripken rookie, and I'd like to add the 82 traded Ripken rookie along with it. And I've still got other sets I haven't even decided whether to complete or not. My budget hole has decreased to a more manageable $201 under even money. I conservatively have more value in the cards currently for sale. My confidence was raising that I could get this flip done in the black. But that is dependent on my being able to actually sell these cards. Before I head back to the card store, next I'll hit up a big card show and see what kind of damage I can do there. And who knows, if some of this stuff doesn't sell by then, maybe I'll take the sets with me and see what dealers are buying vintage sets and maybe do some flipping and trading on the card show floor. The regional card show closest to me expanded from 150 tables to 200 tables, and I have never been disappointed with more selection. Trying to close out this collection flip I've been working on lately, I had a shopping list that was light on Phillies and heavy on 77 Topps Commons. But what I really wanted from this show was an 82 Topps traded Cal Ripken rookie, the pièce de résistance of my collection flip. First browsings brought me face to face with a Joe Montana rookie for $155 in a CGC 5 slab. Given my recent and brief Montana rookie ownership, I am keen to see what these are going for here. The dealer said he had room on it, though I didn't ask how much. With an 84 Topps set waiting for completion at home, well, it's not even halfway complete, so I think right now it only qualifies as a box of 84 Topps cards. I had my eye out for a Mattingly rookie, as it is the 84 Keystone. I noted the $15 price here and kept walking, where I walked right into another one at $50. I didn't notice right away that it was an O-Pee-Chee, so probably I was wearing a too severe expression when the dealer looked up and asked if I was okay. With a slight apology, I said, "Oh, it's an O-Pee-Chee. Nice card," but I don't think he believed my attempt at amends for my face. But in the same case was my first Ripken sighting of the show, PSA 5 for $130. It was off-center top to bottom, but looked in good shape otherwise. He said he could work with me on the price. He also had a PSA 8 for $225 that I didn't photograph because I'm an idiot. But for that one, he said he would not work with me on price. $225 or bust for the 8. Like the Mattingly, I noted the price, but wanted to keep shopping. And the next table? Boom, another Mattingly, an 8.5 in this case at $85. The price kept moving in the wrong direction. Next were some 70s stars that I needed for my 77 and 78 sets. Lou Brock and Yaz from 77, and 1978 card number 4, Brooks Robinson, among others. $5 for the lot. My seal had been broken. Making my way through the rows, I saw a promising box of 70s cards marked at 50 cents, and there were some 77s in there. A good number, actually. I found 20 on my list, which at 50 cents a card should have been $10, but I was chatting with the dealer the whole time about set collecting and working on the 77 and 78 sets, and he said that he had a lot of respect for set collectors, as he thought we were a dying breed. So he gave me the cards for $5, 25 cents each, and wished me luck on the completion. After I wished him well and walked off to continue my show, I walked right into another Ripken. Ungraded, too, naked like the day it was born. I asked to see it, and while noting the price of $150, I noticed the other Ripken rookie beneath it. I need one of those too, to complete my 82 set. $150 seemed high for an ungraded card with the PSA 5 across yonder for $130, and he wanted $35 for the Future Stars Ripken. Also seemingly high. I told the dealer I'd do a lap and think about it. And in doing my lap, I found another Ripken, this one a PSA 9 at $600. 4 options for this card at this show. A 9, an 8, a 5, and a nude. I've always thought raw was a bit uncomely of a term for ungraded cards, so I'm going to try and make fetch happen. And in doing so, that makes the slab queens out there never nudes, and I can't possibly fit any more pop culture references into this scenario. Needing time to think about the Ripken, I sat down at a dealer who had singles for set collectors. This was still relatively early on the first day of the show, so I was hopeful these boxes hadn't been picked through yet. I asked for the 1978 box, and before you know it, I had the few remaining cards needed to complete my 78 Topps set. 77 Topps boxes up next, and I needed a bunch, more than 100. These boxes were impeccably organized, so I made short work of it. Card 121, of which he only had one copy, had a little stain on the back that bled through to the front, so I left that one in the box. But that meant I knew now I couldn't complete the set on this day. A bummer. Getting back to work, I got to within 20 cards of a complete 1977 set, and I had a pile of 130 commons and a few minor stars. At the marked price of 50 cents each, that was $65 for the commons and another $30 for some clean checklists and stars at $1 each. I asked about the Bruce Sutter rookie, card 144, and he came back with an okay example for $25, which was exceptionally high. You can find this card in excellent condition all day on eBay for $10. So I feigned an excuse about some print lines on the front and passed on the card. Just the stack of commons, please. Before I could even ask for a bulk discount, he offered $70 for the lot. These were nice cards, X-mint all the way around and individually sleeved. $70 for 160 cards, an average of 43 cents each. With a handshake, off I went, determined to make a deal on a Ripken. So I go back to the guy with the PSA 9, and I start breaking his balls a little bit to see where he's at. I know this dealer pretty well, and he said best he'd do for me was $400 on the 9. Okay, back to the first table, and I tell the guy about the 9 for $400, hoping he'd come down on the 8, but no luck. The 8 is firm at $225, but he said he'd do $120 for the PSA 5. Okay, over to table 3, the nude Ripken. I asked to see it again. They were firm at $150, but I noticed that when they put the card in the sleeve, they nicked a corner, which I was all too happy to point out. They adjusted their glasses, peered intently at the wound like Daedalus dismissing Pasiphae, harumphed a bit, and said, all right, $140. I offered $120, knowing full well that I could get a PSA 5 for that price point. Both cards were a little bit off-center, but I preferred the look of the nude card. I would be happy with the 5 and would be even happier to crack it out of that cumbersome slab. The dealer goes onto his phone. Yeah, I don't think I can do $120. That's at least a 5, and 5s are going for like $130. Gotcha. What I didn't say was that including the price for grading in a card that wasn't graded when grading prices just went up again, when this card has a knackered corner, was some grade A bullshit. Ricola. But I didn't say that. I stayed calm and as politely as I could explained that the dude over there had a PSA 5 for $120, but I kind of liked his card better and would give him the $120 for it. One of these two dealers was getting $120 of my dollars, and he was getting the right of first refusal. I showed him the picture of the PSA 5, and I put 6 $20 bills on his case. Checkmate. I got the card I wanted for the price I wanted, and when I got the card home, I carefully unsleeved it and flipped the tiny piece of red corner back around, unknackering the knackered card. Feeling good about my new card, I used the extra money I didn't spend on the Ripken, and I went and bought the Mattingly rookie too. Buying it now gives me an excuse to pursue the completion of the 84 top set, the only set from the 80s that I don't yet have. But the universe, being the coincidental bitch that it is, as soon as I walked away with the Mattingly, I walked right into a complete 1984 top set for $60. I just spent 25% of this set on one card, and I need about 450 cards to complete it. I'll need to find cards for less than 10 cents per card to make it even money. 5 cents a card to make collecting the set make sense over just buying it. But I'm on record saying that building the set for less than buying it is possible, and more enjoyable. So I intend to stand by that. So I made a quick plan B. I asked the dealer if he'd break up the set. I told him I'd give him $20 for the box, and he can keep the Mattingly. He chuckled, opened the box where the cards looked tidy, and countered with keeping the Mattingly and the strawberry rookie. Deal. He chose a terrorist fist bump instead of a traditional handshake, and that should have been my warning. I hit a few more tables as I was making my way out and was able to score a few more 77 Topps cards on my list, and I was actually able to find a Bruce Sutter rookie for a more appropriate $10 price. And since the boxes were organized by year, I flipped into the 1984s, and there was a Darryl Strawberry in there for $2. Theoretically, I now had a complete 84 Topps set, and I felt pretty good about the show. But those feelings didn't last long. These are the highs and lows of sports card shows, after all. When I got home and tore into the 84 Topps set, it was missing 8 cards. And worse, about 200 cards of the set were water damaged. The edges and corners with the damage were face down in the box, and I didn't take all of the cards out and do a thorough examination. The box was brand new after all. Ultimately, this is my fault. But I'm kinda irked that the dealer unloaded damaged cards on me. So now I'm $37 deep into a 1984 Topps set and still need 101 cards to bring this box up to mint spec. The damaged cards will be thrown away. You win some, you lose some. The damaged 84 box aside, the most satisfying part of this show happened later that night when I slid the last cards needed into my 1978 Topps set and my 1982 Topps set. There are many like it, but these sets are mine. We begin this last leg of the story with the budget $201 in the negative, and with a host of listings up on Marketplace. I was able to knock out some of the last cards needed for the 1978 Topps set, which is now complete, and got the 1977 Topps baseball set to within 20 cards of completion for a total of $77. I scored an 82 Topps traded Ripken rookie for $120 and a Mattingly rookie for the 84 set for $15, and the Darryl Strawberry rookie for $2. I bought a near-complete box of 84 Topps cards for $20, and the budget is moving in the bad direction again. Fortunately, I found a buyer for the 1988 Topps complete set and packaged a lot that included the 1988 Topps rack packs, 1991 sealed Topps micro set, and 1985 Donruss jumbos. $50 for all of it. I sold the 1988 Donruss complete set for $10 and made another deal for one of the 1981 Topps baseball complete sets along with the 1978 Topps football partial set for $100. And while I was away for work, a guy paid for and picked up the 1980 Topps baseball set and 1980 Topps football set, with my wife facilitating the transaction for $275. $175 for the baseball and $100 for the football. And hey, I'm at even money! It's temporary though, as these woods are dark and deep and there are miles to go before I sleep. So back to the card store I went to spend more money on the completion of these sets, to the tune of $115. But for that money, I was able to complete the 1977 Topps football set, which needed 44 commons and the O.J. Simpson, the 1979 Topps baseball set, which needed 66 cards, and the 1982 Topps baseball set, which needed 46 cards, one of which was the Ripken Future Stars rookie. I was planning on picking up this card at a show, but I didn't find one that I liked for a reasonable price point. This shop had a nice one, and they offered it to me for $20, so I was happy to just finish it off here. Of course, my favorite part came later that day when I could sit quietly and complete each set, card by card, in order. The 1970 Topps football set, now complete, went up on Marketplace, and I received a huge outpouring of interest from channel subscribers and collectors from my region. I was not expecting the amount of interest I received on the vintage football sets, not even close. It really blew me away. Perhaps that was just my own ignorance. If you inquired about the cards, I hope you'll understand that I tried my best to be as fair as I could with the requests, because I got more than 50. No sooner did I have this set listed as it was sold to a channel subscriber, $200 plus shipping. As carefully as I could, I packed it up and sent it off to be loved by someone else. That got my total flip budget back on the plus side again. And the sales didn't stop there. They were just getting started. I sold the Raiders of the Lost Ark movie cards from 1981 Topps for $20. the 1989 Bowman Complete set with the Griffey rookie for $25, and the 1979 Topps Football Complete set for $120. All I had left to sell now were partial sets of 81 and 82 Topps and a bunch of bulk. I split the bulk essentially in half, with all the more valuable stuff in a single lot that was sold to a channel subscriber for $125. That was mostly 1976 through 1982 bulk baseball and football commons, and the junk wax stars. The final 10 boxes were mostly junk wax partial sets, but included some 1981 Fleer and 1985 Donruss among the cards. So I threw the whole lot up on Marketplace for $40, $4 a box. I was honest in the listing about what was and what wasn't there, and I had it sold in 2 days. It was time to do some cleanup and organizing. This was my Mount Trashmore that had grown throughout the collection flip process. Cardboard scraps, unusable top loaders, and sleeves. Stickers and all manners of card collecting detritus. Into the bin it goes. That cleared some space for me to deal with the stack of singles accumulated throughout this flip. These were the randoms that popped out of the cracks, like the 86 Topps traded Bo Jackson rookie, the 1991 Upper Deck Michael Jordan baseball rookie, 1981 Ozzie Smith, multiple Tim Raines rookies, an Andre Dawson rookie, and so many singles of Hall of Fame players from the 70s and 80s. The 78, 79, 81, and 82 sets are complete, but I'm still short on cards for 77 and 84 Topps. And I was able to piece together a second 1988 Donruss set that is 21 cards short of complete. And I haven't even started on the 1987 Fleer set that is 43 cards short of complete. And I still have 2 unsold items from the collection. 10 sets of 1993 McDonald's NFL Game Day collector cards and a newspaper from the day after the Steelers won the Super Bowl in 1979. I have some interested parties on that, but no final deal yet. So maybe I'll squeak out a few more bucks from those items. With a padded cushion of $415, I went back to the card store in hopes of closing out the remaining sets. 1984 Topps was first, and they had all but one card that I needed. 101 cards for $15, or 15 cents per card. They had all of the 1977 Topps cards remaining on my list, including the Pete Rose and Steve Carlton, $30 for the lot. They had all but one of the 43 cards needed for the 1987 Fleer set, including the Bo Jackson and the Barry Bonds rookies, $15 there. And I closed out this LCS session of the flip by completing yet another 1988 Donruss set, with a $6 lot of the stars needed therein. Multiple trips to card stores and a large card show, and I was still a few cards short. This is where eBay can really shine. I was able to get a 1984 Topps card 777 Tom Paciorek for $1.09 shipped. 1987 Fleer card 628 featuring Jose Canseco and Wally Joyner was $1.37 shipped. When I arrived home, of course, I tore into the sets to hasten their completion. And in my diligence with the 1977 set, I went to place card 188 into the box only to find it already there. Huh? Then I noticed that card 187 was the missing card. Apparently, I had written it down incorrectly. A silly mistake. So off to eBay I go to order card 187, only to discover that card 187 is Dick Pole. The one card I missed was Dick Pole. Dick Pole. So anyway, I ordered Dick Pole's card. $2.20 shipped. The last card, the for real last card purchased for this project. I squared away the 1984 Topps set and the 1987 Fleer set and the 1988 Donruss set. I don't need to sell any of those, so I'll keep them all for now. I have owned and sold a bunch of 88 Donruss sets over the years, and since I'm going to keep this one, I need to make a proper box block for it. I'll use the black, red, and blue colors from the borders, and voila! These little custom touches can make even an 88 Donruss set feel like $1,000,000. The collection had an original Fleer box that came with it that had other random cards in it, so I moved the 1987 Fleer set back in situ. Not too long after I completed all my sets, I was able to sell the 1979 Steelers Super Bowl newspaper for $100 shipped, which netted about $80 to me, to a Steelers superfan. This was a curious price, as all I did was post in a Steelers Facebook group that I had it and was willing to sell it, and a guy offered me $100 for it. So, that's the price, I guess. Since the 1993 McDonald's cards featured Steelers players, I threw those cards in with the package. That only left this. After all the wheeling and dealing and buying and selling, I still had a partial 1981 top set missing 121 cards, but that included the Baines and Raines rookies and all the major stars, and a 1982 top set missing 142 cards. Admittedly, I was losing steam on the set completions, but a viewer of the channel reached out with a Ripken Future Stars rookie, and we arranged a trade of the Ripken for some card box dividers. So now I had the Ripken, which made the lift a little less heavy. Also, among the two incomplete sets were about 1,800 various doubles from 81, 82, and 84 tops. And since I traded my way to a Ripken rookie, I thought it was worth trying to trade my way to these set completions. So I took all the extra cards, more than 1,800, to the same LCS where I had been buying the commons, and traded them in against the 260 cards that I needed to complete the extra 81 and 82 sets. It was essentially a 7-to-1 trade for commons. For every 7 VGEX or better card I traded in, they gave me 1 back. So without any additional monies, I got rid of the final bits of bulk and now had complete 1981 and 1982 top sets to sell. I put them up for $150 for the pair, and in a few days had them sold. The final transaction of this collection flip, and the final money's in. I surpassed my goal of getting back to net $0 by $574.34. That's a tidy little sum for the pleasure of screwing around with sports cards on and off for the better part of a month. Here's the total financial breakdown. I bought the collection for $700. I had to spend an additional $393.66 in cards to complete the various sets to maximize their value, and I bought an 82 traded Ripken rookie just for the fun of augmenting my 1982 top set for another $120. Total spend above the price of the collection was $513.66, totaling $1,213.66 cash out of pocket. Selling through all the complete sets and various lots, I had total sales of $1,788, netting to me $574.34 in cash for my troubles. But more importantly, and why I did this, I got to keep these. 11 complete sets of baseball cards, all EX or better, all rookies, plus a host of bonus singles. I acquired, for no money, a complete 1977 top set, 78 top set, 79 top set, 81 top set, 81 Fleer set, 82 top set, 82 Fleer set, 82 Donruss set, 84 top set, 87 Fleer set, and 88 Donruss. Very conservatively, that's $1,000 worth of cards kept. Cards that now enter my permanent collection for permanent enjoyment, which brings my total cash and cash equivalents up to more than $1,500 on this collection flip. I mean, check out this Aussie. Centered Aussies do exist, and here's the proof, and it's all mine. And it's all mine for free. In retrospect, I could have kept one of the Joe Montana rookies, and maybe I should have, but the guys who bought them will enjoy having them much more than me, and I'm just as content to share the joy of the hobby in that way. Some of you might be bristling out there that I ripped off the original collection owner, but I don't think I did. $700 was a fair price for the collection in the condition that I found it, as I found it, and as I bought it. As I discussed in my video about collection values, the original seller could have taken on all this work and expense themselves, and then sold the collection themselves for more than $2,000 probably. But in most cases, and definitely in this case, the owner just wasn't going to do that. He wasn't going to spend a month documenting each card, completing each set, and dealing with the ghosts and goblins of Facebook Marketplace to get each piece sold to the right buyer for a maximum value. That time and effort is worth something. At least it was to me. And I get to store these new sets in these fancy new sealing and locking storage cases, which came along with the collection. What an absolutely fun way to spend my hobby time and efforts. Flipping a collection, finding joyful and appreciative buyers for its respective pieces, keeping some of it for myself, and having 5 Benjamins in the card budget left over to go after perhaps another 1915 Cracker Jack. But that's another video. I hope this was as interesting for you as it was fun for me. In that way, we all win. Thanks for watching. Help support the channel with the purchase of a custom card box divider made to your exacting specifications. Send me an email at philliesbaseballcards@gmail.com to talk about how.